This program contains surgical scenes.
Welcome to Hungry Beast. Tonight we're faking it. From an Afghan village in the Californian desert to a surprisingly common cosmetic surgery that alters racial characteristics. Plus, we meet the billionaire brothers buying out climate change. But first,
if you want to improve your ladies' man image, a new internet startup, cloudgirlfriend.com, is spruiking fake online girlfriends who will leave messages on your Facebook wall to convince others that you are a guy in demand.
Great moments in fake body parts. At a photo shoot last month, Israeli model Orit Fox was bitten on the breast by a boa constrictor. And if that moment wasn't fake enough for you, it was followed by a fake news story that the snake died of silicone poisoning.
But some fakes can be dangerous. As Kirsten Drysdale found out, there's a lot more to counterfeiting than money and handbags.
Picture this. You live in Kenya. Your child is sick with malaria. A local market stall sells a well-known and highly effective medication. You buy the pills, but your son's condition worsens. A few days later, he dies. The cause of death is recorded as malaria, but your son is as much a victim of the global market in counterfeit medicine, a $75 billion scam industry responsible for the deaths of more than 700,000 people a year. Worldwide, it's estimated that up to 15% of all medicines sold could be fake. In the developing nations of Asia, Africa and Latin America, that figure more than doubles. In some places, including online, it exceeds 50%.
When most people think about counterfeiting, if they're not thinking about when it comes to drugs, they may be thinking about counterfeit handbags or watches. But when you're talking about fake drugs, hundreds of thousands of people around the world may be dying as a result.
Here in Australia, we're relatively safe. The most likely of us to be duped are online shoppers, falling for discount painkillers and Viagra, Earth's most counterfeited drug.
We're not talking about generic drugs here. We're talking about drugs that are deliberately and concealed to be what they're not. And therefore, we don't know what's in them. We don't know that they don't have dangerous material in them. They may not have active ingredients, and they're pretending to be someone else's drug.
Some of the more interesting cases I've come across would include the Sharing Brazil case, where I think it was 200 women were given bogus contraceptives and became pregnant. And also in India, there are a couple of examples of anaesthetics being fake and people waking up during procedures, which is, it must be obviously horrific for the patient, but can you imagine being the surgeon operating on someone?
In the poorest countries where medicines are a premium, and infection is very high, I think those are the worst examples.
In Africa, it'll be more things like anti-malarials, antibiotics. In Western countries, it'll be heart medications, painkillers, erectile dysfunction meds, and all sorts of other things, diet pills. Some of the richer markets, you find leukemia and other oncology drugs being faked.
Counterfeiters work really hard to make their products look legit, meaning fakes are almost impossible to spot, even for the experts.
The photos that you're looking at were brought in a pharmacy in Lagos. The product on the left is fake. The packaging, the fonts, the inks are all perfect. If you now look at the next photo, which is the back of these packages, you'll see that there's a patch on the back. That's a hologram in the middle there that the real product is supposed to have on it. The bogus one doesn't have antibiotic in it, and when we ran it through the spectrometer to work out what it did have in it, the main ingredients are glass and baby powder, talcum powder.
While the methods used to fake medicines are highly sophisticated, so are the forensic means of tracking them down. In one example, researchers analysing fake anti-malarial tablets sold in Southeast Asia found traces of pollen revealing their origin in southern China. Interpol and the Chinese authorities were then able to locate the illegal factory and catch the counterfeiters.
The reason that criminal gangs are switching from just trading in cocaine and heroin to trading in pharmaceuticals is that the punishment is so low. And if you're caught trading in cocaine or heroin, it's 20 years in jail or life. When you're counterfeiting pharmaceuticals, you may get 6 weeks in jail, you may get a $1,000 fine and a slap on the wrist. And there are numerous jurisdictional problems. For example, there have been cases of drugs going from China through the Middle East, via Europe into the United States, pretending to be from Canadian pharmacies. In some instances, people know that these pills are going to thousands upon thousands of people. They are knowingly providing conditions for manslaughter, if not outright murder.
Things probably won't change for a while. The World Health Assembly in May promises to work on a solution to the problem of counterfeit medicines, but alongside issues like AIDS, smallpox and cholera, it's just one item on their very long agenda.
Stuff said, faking it.
I have never felt more loved and cared for in my entire life. Jeanette Navarro explaining why she faked an illness to gain the sympathy of an online support group, a mental disorder called Munchausen syndrome by internet. Guardian.co.uk, 26th of February 2011.
If people are going to act this way to me, well, screw everybody. Screw the world. I guess, got a black heart. Spam king Robert Soloway recently released from prison on the way that death threats for his phony email scams drove him to spam even more. Wired.com, 3rd of March 2011.
Instead of aspiring to explore their humanity, their brains and hearts and guts, these rappers were aspiring to sound like machines. Hip-hop artist Jay-Z on Faking It by Autotune in his book Decoded, published November 2010.
Australians have been busted using fake degrees in everything from law to medicine. And last year, the online market for fake qualifications grew by around 50%. So we sent Scott and Lewis to find out how qualified you can get in one day.
It's 9 a.m. and by the end of the day, we want to have Lewis as qualified as possible. And there's plenty of options, from the credible to the absurd.
First one I've got, I am a certified Reiki master.
Do you even know what Reiki is?
No.
There are plenty of sites offering degrees in hyperspace theory, but there are also real institutions offering degrees, doctorates, and even priesthoods for tiny fees.
Do they have a generic media studies degree? Have I wasted my time with 4 years of... Yep, they do. Excellent. What makes me angry about this is that I still have a very large HECS debt.
Forget setting ourselves one day. After 1 hour, he'd been ordained as a priest by the Universal Life Church in the US and certified as a genuine paranormal investigator. We'd even found a university that would qualify Lewis as a professor in maritime law.
I challenge you to find a person who knows more about law and water than this guy.
What do you know about law and water?
Everything I learnt from Baywatch.
But we weren't done yet.
Holy shit. If I buy 1 square foot of land, they'll let me call myself a lord.
Is that even a qualification, though?
It's a very rude question to ask a lord, Scott.
So, 1 hour and 5 minutes online, I am now Lord Lewis Hobba of Glencoe, paranormal detective, holistic healer, and possibly the only professor of international maritime law who can legally marry you in Vegas.
But we still didn't know how any of it would hold up in the real world.
So, to see if the qualifications would pass muster, we took the most believable one, my professorship in maritime law, to a specialist in credential checks.
We do conduct 400 background checks per day. Just last week we had 2 individuals that held certificates such as this.
Okay.
It does look very official, but this particular university, if you research into the address that they provide, it doesn't exist.
So this is a university you've seen before?
Where people have purchased their degree online, yes.
Okay. So the problem with these fake degrees is that it doesn't take much to discover that they are fake.
Well, a CEO of Microsoft in China got away with using a degree from a bogus institution for 2 years without getting caught. So if you're confident enough to walk into a job and do it, you can get away with a fake degree.
And there was only one place I could try to get away with mine.
Morning, class. I'm here today to talk to you about maritime law, the practice of law on water. Are there any questions?
If you buy a fake online degree, you lose either way. If anyone checks it, you look like an idiot. And if they don't, you still look like an idiot.
Should the captain be held liable for the crash on Gilligan's Island?
trying to do a job you're completely unqualified for.
Meet the Koch brothers, oil magnates worth $21.5 billion each, founders of the second biggest private company in America, owners of the fabric Lycra, and heavy investors in chemical fertilisers, pulp and sawmills. They're also passionate funders of anti-global warming groups, which led Greenpeace last year to dub them climate science denial kingpins. Their credits go way back. In 1990, when the US government threatened an air pollution crackdown, the Kochs financed a group called Concerned Citizens for the Environment, which produced a study claiming acid rain didn't exist. Koch Industries is one of the top 10 biggest air polluters in America. 7 years later, the Kochs met more regulation by citing a study that argued smog protects us from skin cancer. The Kochs financed the think tank that wrote it. For 8 years, the brothers poured cash into high-profile anti-green lobby group, the Competitive Enterprise Institute, which sponsored the 1997 Countdown to Kyoto Climate Skeptic Conference in Canberra, attended by then-Deputy PM Tim Fischer. In Australia, the Kochs have interest in carpets, chemical technology and fertiliser, with offices in Victoria and New South Wales. At last count, they had spent $196 million underwriting more than 37 groups to campaign against regulating business in the United States. Among them, the Institute for Humane Studies, Frontiers of Freedom, and the Independent Women's Forum. White House staff nicknamed this network the Kochtopus. In 2007, leaving no environmental symbol unchallenged, the Kochs financed a study claiming polar bears aren't being hurt by climate change. But the environment isn't the Kochs' only interest. In 2003, they founded Americans for Prosperity, major backers of the Tea Party movement. AFP has opposed regulating executive bonuses, big tobacco, and resisted healthcare reform. South Australian Senator Cory Bernardi has said he admires the Tea Party's free-ranging grassroots activism. Menzies House, one group he founded to stir the pot, is run by Tim Andrews, who worked for the Koch-funded Americans for Tax Reform, the Koch-funded Cato Institute, and was trained by the Koch Associate Program. Last month, the LA Times reported the billionaire brothers now sit at the centre of Republican power. Washington newspaper Politico says they plan to spend $88 million dethroning Obama next year, and they're currently sponsoring the biggest ever study on global temperature change. The Koch brothers. Money can't buy you love, but it can buy you a convenient truth when you need one.
This week on Hungry Beast, we're faking it. Australia now spends $1 billion a year on cosmetic surgery. We're increasingly happy to change the way we look, even when it involves changing racial characteristics. Ali Russell looks into a surprisingly common cosmetic procedure.
I don't really know what the perfect eyes look like. I guess the perfect eye is the one that matches your face the best.
My name's Heidi and I'm 20 years old. I'm gonna get double eyelid surgery just to make it bigger, more wide-eyed.
The way I do the operation, I do small incision above your, in your eyelid.
Are you cutting all the way across? Okay. I brought in a picture of Jessica Alba and the doctor's like, no. But I did bring in another picture of Dawn Yang. She's like some celebrity blogger in Singapore. I felt like I could relate to her because she's had her eyes done as well. I like her lids. I like how wide and big her eyes are.
I think what you're asking is too big. It becomes very unnatural for you. I do suggest a little bit smaller than that. We can make it big.
Well, as big as you think will look natural.
Yeah.
My name is Sam and I'm 14. Today I'm getting my eyelids surgery. I'm hoping to get my eyes bigger and it'll be pretty cool.
Bit nervous?
Oh, just a bit. Well, it's such a common thing to get eyelid surgery in Taiwan. My mum's had eyelid surgery and I'm pretty sure she had it done when she was 15, and she said, look, when you're old enough, you're going to have it done too. And I never really took her seriously until she flew me overseas and made me do it. I was 15 and she took me to Singapore. And, all the, years leading up to that, I'd said to her, I wasn't really interested in having it done because I don't like surgery. And also, I really liked my eyes. But I was being obedient and, it meant a lot to her. So I had it done.
I think it is one of the most popular cosmetic surgeries in Asia. On average, I've been doing about 3 to 4 cases per week.
I want to be beautiful. They say inner beauty is more important, which is great, but I want to look pretty while I'm still young.
I actually thought I would be going under completely, but I was awake during the whole thing, which was quite confronting. When they cut your eyelid, because your eyes are closed, you can see this flood of light and you can feel the fat from your eyelid dripping down the side of your face. It's really quite scary for a kid.
I want to try to be included. So I want to try to be similar, I guess, like Australian. It's good if you look similar like them.
I look angry and frowny all the time, or I look worried or something like that. And I think by opening my eyes up a bit more, it makes me look happier, easily approachable.
They probably think Caucasian eyes are better looking because it's what they don't have and because it's what they see on screen. The celebrities that they idolise or the models, what is portrayed, all that's represented is Caucasians. So they would obviously want to emulate what they see.
Feels a bit tight. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Did you already start operating?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have experienced racism a couple of times. I guess it's one of those things you can't avoid.
They say chinky eyes or slit eyes, or they pull their eyes and go ching chong wa or something like that. And it makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. I feel insecure when I go into an interview. I think, oh, maybe they won't pick me because I'm Asian. Maybe if I look less Asian, I'd feel more confident or something like that.
I don't think any amount of surgery is going to stop people making racist comments to me. And I don't think any amount of surgery is going to make me look Caucasian unless I have a face transplant. You know what I mean?
No matter how well I speak my English, no matter how good my grammar are, or no matter how good of a sportsman I am, that doesn't really cover me being from Asia.
Sick.
I like being Korean and I would like to stand tall, but I would also like to be like Australian.
Yeah, it's not to look Caucasian, it's just to look more, maybe I guess in some way, more Eurasian sort of. I mean, I still got, Asian skin, Asian bone structure, my nose, my lips. I mean, people put braces to rearrange their teeth. I'm just rearranging my eyes,
You might think Hollywood's the fakest place on earth. Not quite. Marc Fennell has more.
It's 2 p.m. in Ghazni province, Afghanistan. You're patrolling a village on foot with a troop of coalition soldiers. Suddenly, a coalition Humvee explodes. It's chaos. 2 men lie beside you, moaning on the ground, missing limbs, bleeding out into the dust. Local villagers run towards you, screaming in a language that you don't understand. And then, from the corner of your eye, you see it. An insurgent eating a hamburger? Welcome to Fort Irwin, a fully functioning fake Afghan village smack bang in the United States. Designed to help soldiers experience the realism of the war against terrorists, Fort Irwin has 15 fake Iraqi and Afghan villages over 2,500 square kilometres with hundreds of Arabic-speaking actors, amputees and pyrotechnics that Michael Bay would have wet dreams over. Fort Irwin is far from unique. All around the world there are cities, towns and villages that are not quite what they seem. Welcome to the Hungry Beast Atlas of Fake. The UK, for example, has its very own fake Middle Eastern village too. It receives just 4 hours of sunlight a day and more than 600 millimetres of rain every year, making it the least accurate representation of the Middle East since Sex and the City 2, though far less offensive and patronising, also probably without the women dressed as drag queens.
You are fun in Abu Dhabi.
But why fight in a fake village when you can live in one? China leads the world in fake cities. Lucky citizens can live in fake Manhattan, fake Zurich, fake London, and even fake Paris, all designed as housing estates for wealthy Chinese afflicted with a crippling lack of good taste. Next door to China, North Korea takes a slightly more nationalistic approach to fakery. Kijongdong, or Propaganda Village, sits on the border of South Korea, and from a distance it appears to be a 200-family collective farm with a childcare centre, schools and a hospital. In reality, it's nothing more than a bunch of concrete shells, although it does have the world's second largest flagpole. So, what is the future? Mars. And by Mars, I mean Utah. Buried in America's West is a fake Mars colony. Privately funded by a bunch of Red Planet enthusiasts, these terrestrial astronauts perform field experiments and explore the potential challenges of living in outer space, all inside this small cylindrical building powered by nothing other than their overactive imaginations and awesome choreography. From the Middle East in the Mojave to Paris in the People's Republic of China to a universal adventure in Utah. Truth, it's not just stranger than fiction, it's far stupider too.
I'm just going to ask you a few questions about you, pretty much.
You got me good side and me bad side?
Do I look all right? All right.
Faked it. Fake it till you make it.
I feel like I fake it all the time.
I'm not a fake person.
If I don't like their dress and they ask me if I like their dress, I'll just say, well, it's different.
When you eat something in the fridge and it was really someone else's, and you're just like, hey, it wasn't me.
You're not lying and you're not hurting the person's feelings either.
Job interviews. Come on. You're shitting yourself like it's a job.
I suppose at work some days when I can't be bothered being there, when I but I have to be happy and nice to people.
You got to act like you love it to get the job, so.
Well, I suppose we all fake the sickie from time to time.
Like, say for example, I was to become a cleaner. I love mopping, like, I don't know.
Nails. Fake tan.
Hair extensions.
Yeah, I've got highlights.
Fake Louis Vuitton.
Right now I've got contact lenses. So yeah, my eyes aren't green.
And I'm getting a boob job. But yeah, don't show that one.
Well, you can't ask a woman that.
Fake sex sometimes, mate, you know, I don't know. Usually with girls.
I've put on this persona like I'm a mystery and there's layers to me.
You know when you're not really friends with somebody and you're pretending to be over polite to compensate for the lack of friendship? I could be faking it.
Or you go out with somebody and you don't really want to be with them, you go, okay, and you go.
Oh, many times. Have to. If the situation is bad.
I faked this massive asthma attack once.
I've lied to my family about many things. You know, where I've been, I've lied. I went to a movie when I was somewhere else.
You know, I went to hospital, drips in my arms, all that kind of shit.
I told them I've got so much bank balance, I may have lied there, you know. I mean, 101 things, you know.
Yeah, I think they both said that I was an extremely good actor for a child, you know.
Jackson!
Yes, sir?
Constable Jackson, you're getting a promotion. Or should that be Senior Constable Jackson? Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Jones called. They're on their way.
Well, already here. Hey, promotion.
Just today.
Well deserved.
Well, to what do we owe the pleasure?
You're fired.
No.
Yes, it's the last time you sent a rookie to a gunfight with no gun, no backup, and no moustache.
He graduated from the academy.
He barely had fluff on his lip. Detective Phillips saw it all. Phillips?
It's true. Who is this man?
Detective Phillips, sir. I'm undercover.
God damn it, he's good.
Hand over your badge, your gun, and your mo. And the other mo. Is that all? Get out of here. Senior Constable Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Or should I say Senior Sergeant Jackson? You're the new boss around here. Don't let them give you any lip.
Follow the money.
650 euros, the cost of a fake Australian passport from a Shanghai counterfeiter using laser perforation and special paper. $20,000 US, the average return on $1,000 invested in making heroin. $450,000 US, the average return on $1,000 invested in making counterfeit medicines. $130,000, the price of a fake Lamborghini or a faux Rari from Thailand car counterfeiters.
That's it for tonight, but you can keep up with us during the week on the website and on Facebook and Twitter.
Next week on Hungry Beast, we wrap up the subject of waste. Food waste, human waste, and the type of waste that's only found at crime scenes. We even raided the bins of a few famous Aussies so we could auction off the finds online. How much will Bob Catter's discarded rifle shells make? Find out next week. Good night.
Good night. All good?
Yeah. Good. Great.
Happy with that?
Great.
A 7-year research project in Canada on a lake situated downstream from wastewater outfalls found male fish growing early-stage eggs in their testes.
In Virginia, USA, scientists have managed to extract the smelliest part of the turd, known as the scutole, to create a non-toxic stink bomb to be used for crowd control. Only to be used when the shit hits the fan.